Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Drink in the Style, brought to you by Habitation Design and the District Edina. I am your host, Gregory Rich. I'm going to help you kill your early evening, mid-afternoon, or preferably mid-morning with some booze and conversation. Notice I said mid-morning, not because you're supposed to wake, but I hope nobody has to get up before mid-morning if it can be avoided. Tonight's theme, which I'd forgotten because this is take 2 of Drink in the Style after some technical issues. Remind me not to let Johnson have 2 shots before we start the program next time.
I'm thinking of someone I can blame, but I got nothing.
We're going to blame Brandon just for the fun of it.
All right, yeah, it was Brandon's
That's
fault.
fair.
Outstanding.
You are the coctologist today, right? So
I do hold the key.
You are sitting in the Dan Newkirk Memorial Coctological Chair, metaphorically speaking. Actually, let's introduce you first for a change. Brandon Glosser, if I may.
There
How's
we
that
go.
pronunciation? From State Farm here at the District is mixing up our cocktails. Brandon, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
I am as well, because you have some boozy work to do. People
Yes.
are going to love this. And this boozy work was hand-selected by my guest, none other than Lynne Jensen-Nelson, the owner of Conversionomics, public speaking, motivational, as well as business, I believe, correct?
yes,
Lynne, welcome to the program.
thank you so much. Excited to be here.
I as well. I mean, we met because you were actually doing a presentation in the
Yes.
Governor's Lounge here at the
Yes.
District. Which group was that?
You know, we've been here with several actually, and it's one of my favorite locations. So it's beautiful. I hate to do a plug, but I have to tell you, it is such a great location. So we refer it to a lot of our clients. It's a great
Oh.
space.
Thank you. I so greatly appreciate that. All right, fabulous. Well, we're going to be diving into, you specialize in the building remodeling industry.
Yes.
So we've got that plug in to talk about as well. And I may eventually give you a chance to talk instead of me chattering.
I can't wait.
away. Fair enough. But first, I desperately need some alcohol. Therefore, Brandon, as you look at that, there's a frog in my
The
throat.
poor man's throat is dry. Bring this man an emergency
Need to wet your whistle.
martini.
Parched. I need a martini urgently. What martini are you making?
All right, we're gonna have the Vesper Martini, or the 007 Martini, as some
Yes.
people know it as.
Because this was, again, either made specifically for or made famous through Casino Royale.
Yes, you can trace it back to its origin in the movie Casino Royale.
And was
So-
this the original Casino Royale or the
Yes,
remake?
Both. So it's in the
Really?
book. It's actually in the book that was written back in the 50s. I look at you like you have no idea.
I didn't know there was a
It was
book.
written in the 50s.
There were
and
50s?
and they also have it in the video or in the movie as well. And it's a little known fact that it has its own song and music video. So
Really? The
I'm
Vesper
not
Martini?
saying, but I'm just saying it's kind of a big deal.
I don't know those ones.
No?
She's referenced now 2 different shows, actually, nicely in that conversation. I caught a little Clavin from Cheers,
Yes.
which, by the way, was my fraternity nickname. This will surprise no one.
You have a lot of
Mhm.
nicknames. We've learned so many, and we're not going to mention the others because I don't want lightning to strike us right here. So but that one is good. See, I feel like if I can help somebody win $1 million on a trivia show, like that would be fantastic. So
Right?
that's
Agreed.
one. So the Vesper Martini, that's how it started. It's
That's
a little known fact.
a little known fact, and that makes it a big deal, Madam Broadcaster, if I will. All right, a Vesper Martini. So the ingredients of a Vesper Martini are what?
Very simple. We have vodka, we have gin, and we have Lillet.
Lillet Blanc.
Lillet Blanc.
actually,
Yes.
Which is it a vermouth? It's a
It's in place of a vermouth. So it is a style, it's more like a wine actually. So that's why what makes this interesting is that it's actually 100% alcohol. So unlike a vermouth or any other mixes that might be in there, it's just 100% get to it martini, which is why it's one of my faves.
Why do I feel like I'm going to get to use one of my favorite Dean Martin lines? Remember, it's not slurring your words, it's talking in cursive, and it is fucking elegant.
Exactly. Just like the Vesper Martini. Yes,
Exactly. Exactly. So we're doing the Vesper Martini. We've got gin, and we are using Hendrick's gin, which is a cucumber gin as
It
well.
is.
So we've got a number of flavors ranging
is.
from sweet to the garnish that we'll have is lemon, a lemon.
The most beautifully cut lemon ever.
It is nicely done.
Done by a pro.
Done by a pro.
All right, fair enough.
He labored over it. It was beautiful.
So Brandon, hair glosser, let's get mixing on this
All right.
program. Hit us up with our mixing music and tell us how to make this extremely boozy drink.
All right. So a good, nice, hefty little scoop of ice.
Okay, going into our cocktail shaker.
And then we will do 1 ounce of vodka.
And this is shaken, not stirred.
It is shaken, not stirred. So, and the reason, personally, I like shaken martinis. I don't know. I know you're a
I do.
martini aficionado as well. I like my martinis really cold, so I always like mine shaken.
Mhm.
But this one in particular is shaken because it is 100% alcohol, and so they say that having that little extra ice actually helps make it a little bit more palatable. So
That makes sense. So it's going to cook with the ice, as they say.
And you can make it
Beautiful.
with any. The first time I had it was down in Scottsdale, Arizona. I don't know if you've been down there, but Oceans 44, an amazing restaurant. You know, seafood in Arizona. Who wouldn't go? It's so coastal, right?
Of course.
But the first time I had the Vesper was there, and they made it with Hendrix and Belvedere, which
Okay.
are two that I liked. And so you can make it with almost anything. The key is the Lillet, I will tell you, which you can't get at most restaurants here in Minneapolis.
Really?
So I can get this far more often when I travel for work in the South
Okay.
and on the West Coast. So here in Minnesota, I actually haven't found a single restaurant that has it.
Interesting.
So they make a version of it with vermouth, which I don't enjoy as much, but you know, it's better than not having a
Vesper
Vesper.
martini.
Exactly.
Wonderful.
Exactly.
All right. So we didn't let you
All right.
talk about the proportions. How much of each do we have?
I'm just going to town over here. So you get 3 ounces of gin, 1 ounce of vodka, and half an ounce of the Lillet.
Oh, dear Lord. I'm very enthusiastic.
So I probably should have asked Jackie if it was okay, but it is illegal in some states because it's considered a double. Just,
know,
just
you were-
FYI.
Mentioning that, it's crazy. All right. Shake away.
The best part.
Oh, I do love that noise.
I do too. Why don't they make this for a white noise machine? It's always like frogs in the ocean. I'm like this. Now this I could fall asleep to. Am I wrong? Is it just me? Let's invent that.
It's brilliant. Actually, that is a brilliant idea. Although it would constantly fill me with a desire to have a martini.
True.
Christina says my wife says that I am insanely, what's it called, subject to suggestion on things like that.
That's
If
true.
someone's drinking a glass of wine on TV, she's like, I know within like a minute and a half you will be pouring.
See,
it
food
on.
shows are like that. People can watch food shows without getting hungry. It just makes me angry. I just get hungry. But
Fair
drinking
enough.
shows, I would be all in. I'm good with that.
All right, so you poured out the martini. We've got these obviously in a martini glass.
Yep.
It's a good, healthy pour, I might say, as well.
Plan
It's
can't
delicious.
possibly fail, Lynn. This
You
is
must
going to
work
go
for
great.
tips. I mean, yes.
Okay, so you're
All right.
expressing the lemon peel as well, I see.
Yep. So do a little twist to get the zest. And you can rub it around the rim, is what they say. Get
Got to
little
rim the
lemon.
martini glass. Everyone
Yes,
knows
you
that.
do.
And you
Yes.
just drop that thing in there.
And behold, an absolutely beautiful martini is prepared. I'll tell you, I'm now trying to carry this across
After
the
how many
studio.
shots?
I know, right? And what is it? Somebody once said, I mean, who the hell came up with the idea of serving a cocktail on a plate? It makes no sense. I appreciate how elegant the glass is.
Yes.
But I was out at a restaurant yesterday, and the guy, they shake the martini right at the table
Sure.
side.
Which I love that actually.
I do too. Except he poured like straight to the absolute top.
Oh.
And I looked at him like, that is so awesome. Thank you. Can I have just a straw?
Right.
I mean, there's no
That's
way
not
this is
awkward.
going to make it to me. And the only options are I lean down to the table and start sucking it out of the martini glass there.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you a person who likes it when they bring the shaker to you, or do you not need that?
As in they shake it
Or when
tableside?
they shake it tableside and then leave the shaker. That was a
Oh,
COVID
yeah.
thing that they
Mhm.
would leave the shaker with you.
Yes.
So that, and I have to admit, I love that.
I do as well.
I
and
feel like it's a little bonus.
it is. It's like
beautiful.
having a beer back on a martini
Ex-
on a Bloody Mary.
Beer back on a martini. I haven't done that before.
Martini. By the way, as Brandon is adding the additional martinis for our producer and guest, because I'm so rude, I took the first one. Honestly, it's like, dude, it's like being on an
I totally
airplane.
thought you were bringing it here. I'm just saying.
It's
but
like, I know.
appreciate that you took the
I
time.
did.
Chivalry is not dead.
Oh, it's dead.
It's
When it
dead.
comes to
It's kicked
martinis,
on.
chivalry is
Very
most
dead.
definitely dead. But it's like being on an airplane. You got to take care of yourself first, and then I can
Put the
help
mask
you.
on yourself. It's the same with martinis. I think that's a beautiful, beautiful way to describe it. Absolutely. Now, normally I would fight you for that martini, but again, we've had time here, so I've had other things. Otherwise, this could have gotten ugly quickly.
There is a little violence in your eyes. I see it.
There is. I am not afraid to fight. I am not afraid. I have a friend who's like 6'8". He taught me about the throat punch, so I'm good.
Oh,
but I'm good. I'm good for this.
You know, if we want to increase our views on our videos, we got to have like a brawl.
Throat punch?
Yeah, for the-
I don't
a
wanna
battle
get
for the
I don't wanna get
martini.
blood in my sparkly pants.
I don't know, officer. I saw a blinding black shiny light. The next thing I know, the martini was on the floor and I was done.
Oh, that would be such a waste of a Vesper. I would not. I couldn't be a part of that. I couldn't be a part of that.
Oh God, Brandon, quickly shake fast for the oh God, my
I'm making
life.
you so uncomfortable. You're like, okay, is this over yet, Johnson? Are we done yet?
And I hope you enjoyed this slightly shortened version of Drink in the Style. No, this is so good. You guys, if you are out there and everybody's got vodka, everybody's got gin, this is a martini you absolutely have to
It
try.
brings the two worlds together. I think it's beautiful.
It does. It's like harmony.
It is.
It's like ebony and ivory.
Slow and steady.
I'm gonna.
Thank you. I think it's beautiful. If it tastes as good as it looks.
It does.
Nailed it.
You're gonna love it. All right, Johnson, you'll have yours in just one second, but let's jump into the program, if we may. So, Lynn, give us a quick overview of Conversionomics.
Great. So Conversionomics, we're actually called Conversionomics Speakers and Consultants, and we are a group, I call us the Speakers Collaborative. So we've got about 57 different speakers who specialize in all sorts of different topics and industries with experiences, but I live and breathe right here, like you, in the home improvement world. So I specialize in furniture, building, new construction, remodeling, home improvement, and interior design. So, which is why I'm so excited to be here. It's like marrying my two favorite things. Somebody somewhere is not going to like this analogy, but martinis and home improvement. So probably the person I've been married to for a really long time. But so yes, so I specialize here. I do a lot of work with builders, remodelers, designers, product suppliers, artists, manufacturers, and really try to help create strategies that make it a great experience for the homeowner, the buyers, the consumers, but also how do we help our industry professionals set themselves up for success as well? And it's kind of like I'm a matchmaker. Like, how do we make sure we find you the right customer? How do we help our consumers, our homeowners find the right design build partner, which is so important.
Yes.
And really make sure that's a great experience for everybody. So that's where I specialize.
I mean, it's brilliant. It really is, because we're talking about now, first of all, and I don't misinterpret this in any way, but the people in the building remodeling, you often have people who are excellent construction people who know building up and down the scale, but aren't necessarily business owners.
Right.
I mean, it's the old E-Myth. Do you remember that one? Michael Gerber, right? I can't remember who was the author, Berger or Gerber. I can't remember. But it was an effort to try to understand why so many small businesses fail.
Yes.
And I can save everybody the trouble of reading the book by saying it's because just if you're a good car mechanic does not mean you are a good owner of an auto body shop.
Right.
But with this case, with you, people who are strong in construction understand that. Those that understand their limitations, and truly the mark of intelligence is understanding your limitations,
right,
can come to you and say, all right, this is what I can do. You help me implement and make sure that I'm providing the experience that my clients want. Correct?
Exactly. And really, business ownership and sales, even design. I work with a lot of designers, and just knowing that you can be the world's greatest designer, but if you can't communicate that process to your customers, then they can't have the benefit of working with you. And so how do we make that process easy? Which anybody in the industry knows there's three things they say about any home improvement project, right? That you never ever hear anybody say, man, that was fast. Boy, it cost way less than I was expecting. And it was easy. But that really should be our role. As industry professionals, we need to be able to guide people from that process of, hey, why should I find a design build partner to, how does it work? What are the steps in the process? How do we teach our customers to be good customers so it's a great experience for everybody? And so that's where I spend a lot of my time.
That's wonderful. So what are the key things in your mind that when you are putting clients and companies together, what's at the top of the list?
So here's what we know, and this isn't just what what I have to say about it, but just what research shows us is that number one is finding a design build partner that has a great reputation. And it's never been easy. You know, we were joking about online reviews and how important that is, but referrals are still a big deal too. And finding somebody that really is that good partner. Also, what's important is, do you find somebody who makes it easy for you? You know, somebody that shows you the way, knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. So helps you outline that process. And how do they help you find the right solutions? That's the other thing we always, when I'm working with homeowners or consumers, you know, find somebody who's solution focused, who's committed to your project, who understands your budget, who understands your time frame and your needs. And really, you know, designers especially and builders, they're magic. I always say, like, I think people underestimate the magic, and your team too. You know, they look at a space and they say, okay, the customer tries to describe what they want, but they don't know how to get there. And so you bring in these people who are magic, and they see the future. They can see the best fit, the best furnishing, the best for model, the best art, and see that fit. But can they communicate with the homeowner and help them understand why does it cost what it costs? What is the time frame? So it's really finding that really good design build partner. That's the key before anything else. And they can help you with so many other steps.
And on the other hand, it's true that you need a designer or a builder who is tapped into the client, understanding and interpreting what they want.
It's true. It's true.
Right? Because, I mean, if you look at from a design perspective, one of the things that happens all the time is that we have people who come in and they might have done, say, an entire house at, well, Restoration Hardware, for example, not to pick on anybody in particular, but I'm going to pick on them.
You can. It's your show.
I know, right?
You can do anything you want. It's fabulous.
I'm the boss of me. But they would come in and they would say, you know, I mean, we just spent $200,000 on furniture and we got all the nicest items they had and we're not comfortable.
Right.
You injected yourself into an ad instead of having something built around you.
Right.
And it's critical. And builders sometimes don't fully realize this. So you have to help builders understand that that's the role.
We do that a lot. Yeah. And just like you said, you can be the world's greatest builder. I mean, great attention to detail, wonderful quality. But if you can't communicate to your homeowner, your customer, if you can't help them understand the process, if you can't help them stand the value of quality products, then that's just lost. I mean, you can be the most brilliant architect in the world, but if you can't communicate to your customers, that future art or that future building or that future space is lost. And so we do a lot of helping people understand the importance of that and just being able to outline it, but helping people understand DIY sometimes is a big, you know, DI don't, right? And and people think they're going to save money. I think people are sometimes a little bit afraid. Do we have time for a quick cheers?
I know, yes, I know. Salud, the Vesper
Cheers,
Martini.
cheers.
This is definitely going into the next cocktail compendium. It really is. And then the silence.
Well done.
Well, we haven't used the
I dig
swallowing music
For our
yet.
first timer?
Did we just use the swallowing
There we
music?
go, right there.
Excellent. This is a really, really good martini.
Isn't
I'm
it
going
fun?
to order this out somewhere and see how people struggle to make it work.
They'll do it with vermouth here. You have to ask them. If they say, yes, we can make it, ask them if they have the Lillet.
I shall. It's interesting. We were also talking before the show, and we will get back to important stuff soon. But we were saying before the show, and this is going out to my listening audience, I want to create a tequila martini.
Yes.
And, you know, I think it's a great idea. I cannot think that a vermouth would work with tequila. It just, no vermouth, I just can't. So I don't know what to substitute for vermouth that would go well with tequila.
I think that's a good challenge to throw down. Let's figure that out.
Right?
There's a problem we can solve.
Email me, Greg at Habitation Design, your ideas. And if you come up with it, I will use your name on air and I will come up with some clever name that is based on your own.
Ooh, I love that.
Right? This is the Myrtle Schoppenheim tequila martini. Give me a Myrtle Schottenheim. Make it
Just rolls
fast.
off the tongue. Yeah, it's so sexy. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. Anyway, okay, back to building and remodeling.
Martinis are way more fun. Yeah.
I agree. No, building is great. It's
It
okay.
is. It is.
How about time frames associated with
Sure.
working with builders and remodelers?
Sure.
Both the amount of time that you spend with your clients,
Mhm.
and then also what you coach your clients to set as expectations.
That's a great question. So we know, so there's research around like what's important to people who are building. Even if we look at just, let's say we just focus on new construction, although
Mhm.
remodeling certainly would be in there as well. And we know lead time makes the top 5. So
Always.
how long? We know as human beings, we've all gotten to this, like how soon? I need it right now, right? I can't
Mhm.
wait 30 minutes for a pizza. I don't want to wait 2 days for something I ordered on Amazon. But as long as we show people the value of waiting, we will. So, I mean, look at the people who, again, I waited almost a year for dining room chairs, right? During
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
And so that people will wait if they understand it. But again, we start with reputation. But a big part of it too is finding a design build partner that you trust.
Yeah.
If you think about this process, no matter what it is, it could be furnishings, it could be remodeling, it could be building, you're trusting this person or this organization with your money, which is a big part of it. We know for homes, it's usually this biggest single investment most people make. I'm looking at a person who owns a building, so that might be different for you. But for the rest of us, it's a huge investment. The time investment is massive, but also you're trusting somebody with your family, with your dog, with your kids, which I think dogs sometimes rank higher, but you're with your experience, your future holidays, how you entertain, how you look in the neighborhood, how you feel. And we know wellness design, as you know, wellness design is such a big deal right now. How does this space make me feel? How do I live here? How do I work here?
Yeah.
And so finding somebody that you really trust, I think too often people start with time and money. So right away, how much does it cost to furnish a space? How much does it cost to build a new home? And the fact is, we have to start with trust. Do I feel like I can trust this person? Do they understand my vision? Do they understand the goal? I always tell people, you start with goals and objectives. People have, Pinterest and HGTV. We have this perception of the process.
Oh, yeah, don't. Right now, Carl just started crying and he doesn't know why.
That's one of my favorite things, though. Like, I'd love to talk about, like, how has HGTV impacted the industry? But the key isn't about, it's not like shopping for one thing. It's about trust and relationships and asking the right questions and helping people see solutions. That's what I always advise. Find somebody who is solution focused, who can help you have goals. And it's not a Pinterest board. I always say, don't put together all your favorite images. You want to find somebody who understands the goals and can help you get there. Like, it's kind of your designer, your design build partner is kind of your GPS. You got to know where you're going, but we program it and they help us get there.
Yeah. And that does make sense. And the builder themselves, so you've got to do the background check. You've got to make sure.
Online reviews. I'm sorry. I know they're the bane of all of our business owners, but yeah, you got to start there. You do.
They really are. And the other thing is that it's important for builders to, and I know you're good at this, keep people, everybody needs to be reminded at all times that what we do, whether it's design or building, and we do day in and day out, is completely unique to the client.
It is.
And having that empathy and understanding that, this is a person's life. This is not just, walls and windows and a nice sketch.
Right.
This is what people want to raise their home or their children in and are going to have their Christmas dinners and things. And it's critical. And holding on to that empathy, I think, is important and always a good idea.
True.
Yeah. All right. We should take a quick break and then come back and we're going to talk more about the speaking that you do, some more of the consulting, et cetera. And we may even throw in, and I hope you guys are excited, some insurance talk.
Woo! Now it's a party.
Hold on to your hats.
In the house.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Drink in the Style on AM 950, the progressive voice of Minnesota. We'll be back in just a moment. Excellent.
Good stuff.
I'm sorry, man. They threw in.
I'm sorry. I know.
You're fine. It's not that exciting to talk
I'm too used to like, okay, I'm on stage now. Here I go for 50 minutes. So I'm sorry.
No, you're doing
Feel free to
fucking
signal
fantastic.
me and say, shut the pie hole.
No. You're doing fucking fantastic. I really do. I appreciate it. Okay, so segment 2, we got another 23 minutes roughly.
Let's talk about what's important. What do you think? For real? Do you hate it? Do you like it?
No, I love it. I really do love it.
Do you like it?
It's good.
Are you going to go home and make these for your family?
I feel like they could be very dangerous at home, so no. But it will be something I'm probably will try to order though.
They're delish. We have to bring these into the cities. I'm like, I'm just going to bring my bottle of like.
Agreed completely. Well, let's do it. We can batch these effectively, and we should do it at an event that we've had. Let's do an event.
Because it's a sexy, fun drink. I'm just saying. Let's make
It's
that
very
happen.
simple.
I love it. Even the
You
word
could even like
Vesper.
pre-make them, I think.
Vesper.
Except the more you drink, the more you're tempted to say Vesper or Vespa.
Vespa.
I can't tell you how many times I've
I
been
had to
like,
look at my
"Oh, Vespa. My husband's like, Vesper. She means Vesper.
I had to
I
look
do
at my
love
sticky
Vespers.
note every time I saw it. I was like,
Vesper. No, it's so great. And a Vesper, by the way, if a Vesper refers to what? The back apse area of a cathedral or a church, right? It's a prayer area. I believe it is.
I
You could probably Google that
No,
and see if
Greg?
it's true.
I'll
I
say
know
yes.
that it was the seductive double agent Vesper Lynne
Yeah.
in the book. Is that it's what it's named after? I didn't know that until I googled it before.
But I think, yeah, check that really quick.
I
Is
didn't even know there
Vesper a
were
Catholic
books.
prayer area in a cathedral or church?
He didn't know there were James Bond's books.
Oh, fuck you.
I did.
Okay, first of all, you just made me feel like I'm a million. Oh, that's freaking hilarious.
Most things back in the
People
day
read?
started as books.
So
because
I usually do a story about newspaper ads. I'm like, okay, for the young people in the room, newspaper ads, big sheets of paper. Doug
Newspapers is
Jensen down in Phoenix, Arizona orders his every Sunday.
I get the newspaper here every day. I don't know why. Nobody orders it. It just shows up.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
because
and-
they can't. People
I think
won't.
it might be Anna. Anna has a subscription to the paper, and she goes, "I don't know who takes our paper."
I do. Oh my
God, we
God.
heard it here first. This has turned into like a
That's so
2020
funny.
podcast.
Oh,
we
well,
know
that's
who
delightful.
steals their
2020. Like,
2020
To catch a
investigates.
newspaper
I'm
predator.
Lynne Jensen-Nelson with 2020 to catch a newspaper thief. You heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, no, I've been stealing her paper because
Oh.
every day I come in,
100%.
usually around 9:30,
Just because you own the
9:45.
place doesn't mean you can steal
I
anything.
know. I should like go into her
I
office.
never
and just
ordered
start
this. It must be
snatching it.
mine.
It must be mine.
My building, it's mine.
My white-skinned mail. It
My
must be
property,
mine.
my
It's
mail.
mine now.
Oh my
I
god.
claim this.
That's
All right,
funny.
that is funny. I had no idea. I asked a couple of people. I must
Yeah.
not have asked Anne. Because like I said, it's always laying there in front. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Mm,
After
whatever."
it went missing for about 2 weeks, we kind of gave up looking
I'm
for
taking
it.
a picture
'cause
of
we're
a
like,
Vesper.
All right, I am so going to.
You're the cutest. Okay.
All right.
Oh,
I'm
is it
just
back?
leaving it. I'll take it out of a little package. Well, it's actually she's grabbing it. It's in the front.
Well,
fight for what
I
you
mean,
want.
we only get in at 9. So it doesn't.
By 9:30, 9:45. In fact, that's
Okay.
literally the reason I started parking at the front of the building instead of on the
Yeah.
side, was so that I could walk in to grab the newspaper.
Honestly,
I think the word
if you
is
keep
steal.
doing it, I
I
won't
think
tell
the word
her.
is steal the newspaper. I'm not sure just because you call it grabbing makes it okay.
What I was going to say, though,
Just bring it down to her and be
Is
like,
there an
"I'm
HR
done with this," and
department
just
here at
hand
Habitation?
it to her. Your turn.
my life has come full
Mystery
circle. I'm a
solved.
newspaper boy again.
There you go.
Extra. What did you find out about Vesper? Is it, am I right? Or is that, or is that the tumor talking? It's a good fucking point, Johnson.
Wow.
Anna can look forward to my bill.
All right.
That would be a little surcharge.
All of a sudden, the
A
paper
little-
will no
a
longer be
little
coming.
lease surcharge.
Paper collection. Uh-huh.
She's gonna cancel the paper, and
Wow.
then what?
I think
Then
you
we're-
should be a business strategist. I mean, yeah,
Agreed.
Conversionomics.
Agreed.
Wow.
Yeah. This is going to become the most expensive newspaper subscription she has ever had.
Again, I don't think they even charge
It's
for them
$20 a
anymore.
paper. I don't
Yeah.
understand this.
I don't think they even charge for newspaper anymore. They're just trying to get people.
I can sit down and read
Giving
to
it
her.
away.
Mhm.
All right. Now I'm so glad I brought that up.
I won't tell her it was you. but-
No. I
What
don't
is-
care. I get the digital version. So, I
Do you?
mean, I can, because I still like seeing the paper for whatever reason.
My dad does that too. I'm not comparing it, but yeah, he just something about it spreading out and like.
Oh, my dad will read it front to back, and he
Yeah.
won't. So it's my stepdad. But the first time I ever had breakfast with him one-on-one, didn't talk to me the whole time.
Yeah. I
He goes,
gotta-
"Want to go for breakfast?" And then ignored me. And then my
Read
mom
the
goes,
paper.
"How was breakfast?" I go, "Very uncomfortable." And she goes, "I go, he didn't talk to me." She goes, "Whole time, right? He never looked up from the paper." I go, "No." She goes, "He does the same thing to me." I was like, "Well, you could have told me."
Yeah, well,
Like,
it's not-
I awkwardly sat there thinking he didn't like me for the longest time. I was like, "Did I do something to offend him?" Like,
Little heads up, mom. I'm just saying.
I picked the place to sit. I didn't know he wanted to do that.
That's
Right,
yeah, no,
front to
we're old
back,
enough. The
yeah.
newspaper. I liked the newspaper. And I was a paper boy. I actually am proud to say that I was a paper boy since I was 11. And it was
Nice.
interesting because it had to be 13, so I had to put it under my sister's name.
Yeah.
Then I had 3 routes. I farmed 2 of them out to my friends, Tim Van Schoonhoven and Sean McDonald. And then
Subcontracting.
I took the smallest route, and then I paid them an embarrassingly low amount of money.
That is brilliant. I
Thank
love
you.
that.
Thank you very much. I was always very proud of it.
Subcontracting at what was that? 11?
A paper
I'm
route.
very
love
proud of
that.
I was like,
This is
huh,
why.
I like this business. yet.
Cheers to you. I like that
Very
business
much.
strategy. I love
mean,
that.
it earned me about 3,000 years in hell, but it's fine.
You know,
Created a good middle manager.
exactly.
I did. All right. So next we're going to go into, we got 23 minutes.
Okay.
Where would you like to steer the conversation? Or yeah, what do you have on your list?
Well, again, I'm sorry. I know she told me not to, but I did make some.
No.
So there's a couple things that I wrote. One, just the benefit of working with an industry pro, like if that's kind of something we can talk about. Or
From a
how
building
to-
remodeling perspective or from a
either.
speaking
I mean, to me, I do
perspective?
both. No, I think more of the building, remodeling, design, that kind of. That's really where I really wasn't focusing on the speaking part.
Okay.
But I can. I mean, it's kind of an unusual industry, but everybody wants to be a speaker, but nobody understands how to find the best partner. I had that written down. I do think that the concept of like HGTV's impact on the industry might be interesting for both. I was looking at like consumer and industry person, so
Mhm.
I just had some of those things there.
Okay.
Or I could share more facts about the Vesper Martini. You pick. It was on the finale of This Is Us. I'm just saying.
Hang on one
They're
second.
shutting us down. It's the popo. They
What did
heard
I
you
say?
steal.
Hold on one second. Was someone there? Holy shit, Guy, how are you, brother? Good to see you. Yes, we are. We're right in between. Oh, you look good. You look good. Your home office there. Thank you very much. Jai Bowie.
Hi.
Brandon Glosser.
Hi.
Glazer.
Nice to meet you.
Hi.
Lynne Jensen-Nelson.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Member Johnson.
I saw you come in as soon as you saw that. No, he was on
I know you called me. I owe you a call. I will get.
No, it's
Ooh.
Brother, I haven't had
Do you want a Vespa Martini?
yes.
You
about
do.
you?
They're the best.
You look thirsty. I can sense it. As a bartender,
Oh
I
my
can
God.
sense those things.
You are such a pro. Please do. here. Like, I think
Encourage it.
so. I oftentimes when I'm doing a presentation about sales strategies, I talk a lot about my background, which it happens to be I was raised in a situation where I paid my way through undergrad and my graduate degree is in communication,
Mhm.
which is considered to be the fourth most worthless degree.
Yes, for among them.
Behind the number one most worthless degree,
Yes.
2, 3, and 4. And so I feel like that's, which we didn't know until today. We just realized that today. We worked together for quite a while, and we've had a
Yes.
chance to do some different things, but I didn't realize that you share my experience in the most worthless advanced degrees you can possibly have. So,
From a financial perspective, this is true. From an experiential
Right.
perspective,
right.
I am
At least for
okay with
mine.
the history.
At least for
degree.
mine. I don't know. Although you've thrown a lot of really interesting details, and I'm
Thank
totally
you.
going to quote you someday when I'm on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But
I'm a great cocktail party guest. For the first hour.
I was just going to say, I'm just
Oh,
too. So yes.
I should
Oh.
mention, my guy has the best line ever because he said, I don't remember if it was a history degree, but it was one of the big 4.
Sure.
And he said, I have a degree in history, which allows me to do absolutely anything in the world as long as it's sales.
Yes, exactly. Why do people do what they do and say it was a good transition? And I'm absolutely thankful for it.
Well, here's the thing. Look, and we are straying way away from everything of relevance, but a 4-year college degree is not a vocational degree. This is the thing. You don't send your kids to college so that they can get a job. You don't. I'm sorry. A 4-year degree is not a guarantee into anything. To teach people how to.
Sure.
You agree?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you. That needs to be said more often because people are talking about, no, I want to send my kid for a vocational degree, or no, a 4-year college degree is a complete waste of money. It isn't. It is still critically important to a thinking, rational society.
And both have so much value. I know that's something that to the vocational approach, but certainly to me, as I've interviewed and hired people in numerous roles, it's about demonstrating that you're committed to completing something, isn't it? So whether it's an interior design degree, it's a vocational degree, it's a master's degree, whatever it is, it just shows that you're focused on completing something, and then you go from there. And as you and I were discussing, our degrees took us in 2 very different directions, but I'm thankful. I use even though, again, my degree, I can't speak for yours, is one of the 4th most worthless degrees you can get. And
no, I'm number 1. Or
I think
2.
you are number 1. I'm just saying,
is number
this
1,
might be
isn't
the
it?
one time that you actually beat me, and I'm super competitive. I'm super competitive. So for me to say you're number 1 and I'm number 4, like, that just goes to show
I'm more worthless than you are.
Yes, the one time I will acquiesce that I lose in this. But it does demonstrate industry you're in. And, again, we have our friend who's joined us here, like, understanding an industry and really wanting to understand, like, how do we grow and improve? And if I may, so conversionomics, people asking about the name, but it's about conversion. It's about change. It's like, how do we take our resources and improve it? Whether that's your home or your team or yourself, like, how do we take that and apply our economics, which is our resources, our people, our money, our time, our energy, and
the tools
improve
at hand.
Exactly, and improve it. And that's really something I'm super passionate about, however you go about doing it. And that's something that we're really based on. And so I appreciate that we have people from all 5 of us here. We've all used those resources and work to improve the area that we focus on, which is really important.
That was brilliantly put. It really
Thank you.
was. I don't remember who said, but you do what you can, where
Yes,
you
with
are,
what you
with
have.
what you have.
Yeah.
And That's all there is to it.
Right.
But from a liberal arts perspective, and I'm going to keep riding this horse until that son of a bitch dies.
Just so you know, I'm a horse person. And
I know,
I
right?
hate that analogy. So if we could move on to another analogy, that'd be awesome. But I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
Gonna ride that tractor
Yes.
till it breaks down.
Right, so here is the where you have pictures, probably your kids and your wife. Here's my picture of my
Position.
horse. So anyway, yes, I hear what you're saying. Yes.
But it is true. It is true. And again, I'm just going to do this as a PSA.
Sure.
Honestly,
License, we call that.
devaluing a liberal arts degree and thought is critically important. We are not Japan. We are not a society of engineers and functionals. We are a society of creatives and of people who have fluidity in the way they think, and we have to re-embrace that.
True. Absolutely.
Oh, that was a mic.
And-
Oh, thank you. So let's go back to conversionomics. And all I want to know is what transition was more awkward than mine?
You know what? Who was introducing me at an event where I was the keynote speaker, and he told a toilet joke
Oh, God.
right before me, and then thought he would go into my speaker intro. I'm like, no, heck no. Something else has to happen before you do my entry. So just so you know, this is in the top 5, but it is not.
Fair
so
enough.
I appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. And I believe it was Brandon who set that up. So make sure that it's not me, but him.
Brandon's like, how did I get drugged back into this?
I heard toilet joke.
Yes. Sorry. No.
There was-
that.
back to what I seriously want you to tell our listeners.
Yes.
All right. You're going to be doing a project, building consumer start, period.
Great question. So that's where you online reviews, ask your friends and family, do some looking around. There's so many resources, but I guess the key is find the right design build partner. That's the key. Find
Mhm.
somebody that you trust, that you feel understands. And it's not, I think oftentimes because we watch so much HGTV, we think it starts with the design, and it absolutely positively does not start with that. It starts with somebody who listens, who asks the right questions, who feels like they understand your goals and objectives. And that's the other thing I recommend. Start with goals and objectives, whether it is furnishing, whether it's design or a new build. Have your goals in mind, and then find somebody who has that magic, that ability to see the future and help you pull those goals
Amen.
into creation. And so that's always where I start. Find somebody who listens, who
Mhm.
asks good questions, who
Mhm.
clearly understands your vision. And once you start with that partnership, it can only go well from there.
Fair enough. And that is fantastic advice. It reminds me of something my wife once said, which was, don't think about how you want to feel and what's important to you, and then what you will do to keep a terrible mistake.
First Wives Club. I'm just saying.
Starter wives. Oh, Jesus. Lynn, it was 29 years and you ended it right
I
here.
love it.
Oh,
Props.
It's
I
a
like her
beautiful
already.
thing. Oh, yeah.
I like her already.
She may enjoy that. I'll introduce you without a doubt.
Perfect.
So, okay. So that's how you go through this. Listen, meaning to ask you throughout. So as a speaker, right? What, when you go in front of a group that is within building and remodeling,
Sure.
for example, how do you approach that general or what have you? But how do you address the industry itself?
That's a great question. So, a couple of things, strategist in the industry. And so, oftentimes, what I do is I really focus on the concept of competitive advantage. So, you might be a wonderful builder, a wonderful remodeler, a fantastic architect, a talented designer. But again, how do you help your customers make those decisions? So, how do you demonstrate trust? How do you help lead them through the process? And oftentimes, like my rule number one of sales, which usually I make people pay a ton of money for this, but I'm going to give it to you for free because you applied me with Best for Martinis.
Squee.
Yes. Is that you help your customers be good customers. You show them the way. And people watch HGTV, they don't understand the process. And so it's really important that you show them, how do we make this process easy for everybody? And when we start with that, that creates a really great partnership, whether it's design, build, or remodel experience.
It's perfect. I mean, that is exactly the message that has to be sent throughout. And I'm very pleased with that. So okay, top notch.
Let's just say mic drop, and there ends the reading. Yes.
Talk about
that.
insurance for 4
Yes.
minutes.
Really lighten up this thing, huh?
No, it is beautiful. And again, you're guiding people through that particular space. So, okay. The concept of being a public speaker.
Yes.
The company that you said you have about 50 different speakers.
Yep, about 57. So I have two businesses. I run my own speaking business, and I also run a company called Conversionomics Speakers and Consultants. Breath. So I have speakers from all certain area that I specialize in, but I might have a client specialist to meet those needs. So it might be keynote speakers, it might be trainers, it might be business strategists, and bring
It may be in whatever
Exactly.
industry they're specifically in.
Exactly.
Markets are you in?
We work in all markets based in Paris, around the world. So we're any market you need, we've got people there. I feel like I turned into the sham all
I
guy.
know. Poor
Right
Brandon
there.
looked terrified.
That
He
was-
just dropped
Scared the
something.
crap out of me.
So how do people? This is the plug part of the show.
I love that.
How do people find conversion?
Conversionomics hyphen, just like my last name, conversion-omics.com. So we hire a speaker or a trainer or a consultant, and we help them find the perfect match. So we're kind of the matchmaker in the business world.
You really have a variety of solutions, if I may say, because honestly, everything is about general solutions. And this was a realization. And I say this all the time. Listeners may be familiar with this. The greatest luxury of the 21st century is freedom from choice. You need the ability. We wake up in the morning and you have everything from a drawer full of socks of various colors and patterns, perhaps in many cases, sock drawer, which frankly, from that to where you're going to get your news and information, it's endless. And we're not experts in all things. So the greatest luxury you can possibly have is to find someone that you know, someone that you trust, someone who you are on the same wavelength with, who you can ask to make these decisions or at least present a curated collection of decisions. Agreed?
True. Absolutely, 100%.
They aren't very, have no negotiate badly, I was going to say,
True.
on what it is, which is another quick question. We're running out of time, but I want to ask you this. Clients, budgets, extended budgets, and hidden budgets, right? Both the builders side who are sitting there and
Sure.
what are the freedoms, and for the client who is sitting there saying, well, I'm telling this person I want to spend $400,000, but I can spend
People, I always recommend and you find a build partner that you change. And that's the key. It's about asking the right questions. It's about understanding the project. And by doing that, you're better able to make sure that you do find because oftentimes we don't know if you're not in the industry, frankly, even in the industry, we don't always know what a good budget range might be.
right.
And so finding a partner that you trust, that you can be honest with, that's the key to establishing a good, I would say, preliminary budget range.
Okay.
And that start of the project time frame, because we can't assume that people know, but our build partners, finding the right build partner will help you with that for sure.
Fair. So if you approach a project and you're saying to yourself, $500,000 is what I want to spend,
Mhm.
do you recommend that people $500,000 there shall be no transgression?
No,
Or-
I don't. I always
Okay.
say agree to a budget range.
Okay.
And typically what I say is agree to a budget range, and then know that as the consumer, as the buyer, as the homeowner, you always have the opportunity to adjust that budget.
Mhm.
So you find something that's really important to you, want to add to it, you can always grow that budget. But certainly it's important that you find somebody that you can have a range. There is no one number when it comes to any parts of this industry. So the more you can agree to, hey, we're looking, I always call it big fat ranges, like what really is your top and your medium, and that helps people be more comfortable. So find somebody you trust that you can be honest with and establish a good range, and that also impacts that time frame and the products that you can find.
And that is reasonable. I mean, again, I've said, I feel like I'm saying all the time. Again, I've said, I'm starting to grow even tired of my own expressions. But that is when someone asks about budget, there are one of two questions that are being asked. How much money can I take?
Right.
And how much money
Do you,
can I work with
right.
to make
I always
something
say
happen?
ask the question, where are you in regard to establishing the budget?
Fair. And that is, and it goes down again to the fundamental of trust.
True.
You need to find someone that you do absolutely trust, because you're putting a very big situation into
It's true.
someone's hands.
It's true.
Nonsense. So I will wrap it up. On behalf of Lynne Jensen-Nelson from
Easy for you to say.
from Vesper Martini
Yay!
Production.
Yeah.
Say
Pretty
it.
close. Pretty damn
Huh?
close.
Yes. Brennan at Anna Revel State Farm. On behalf of Jai Bowie, who is sitting quietly in the back, and on behalf of the District Edina and Habitation Design, I would like to wish everybody good luck this coming week. And I will finish out with a quote that I absolutely love from Brandon, and I'm going to ask you to deliver it. Brandon, hit the quote.
Sometimes common sense is just too expensive for people. And
All right. You did well. Oh, nicely done. Yes, yes, yes.
That was awesome. Oh my gosh. This is-
You two have some real chemistry on the show.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh.